Well, hello and thank you for joining me for another Alex on Tech and iTWire TV video. Today we're having a look at the Getac S410 semi-ruggedized laptop. This starts in Australia at $2,149 excluding GST with the Core i3 configuration, but of course you can spec it up to a Core i5 or Core i7, and these of course are the 11th generation processors that we take for granted today with full upgradability to Windows 11, although of course Windows 10 is something that enterprises will continue using for some time because that's the way enterprises work. So obviously we have a very ruggedized, semi-ruggedized look, very industrial kind of look as you would expect. Getac is a key subsidiary of Getac, and it was established as a joint venture in 1989 with GE for the defense industry to provide defense electronics. Now, in that time, they have got a whole series of tablets and servers and ruggedized and semi-ruggedized equipment for all of the industries that require that. So, this semi-ruggedized unit with all of the different ports we'll go through in a second is obviously very different to the kind of standard laptops you might find from the likes of Microsoft or the latest super cool devices from Apple, which are designed for creativity as opposed to working in mine sites or on the field. And also you've got the other sort of standard Windows laptops that are very much in for the creativity space. I mean, if we take a quick look at the difference in thickness, you can see just alone this ruggedized unit is much more designed for on-the-go usage. And there's actually a number of business people who prefer having a ruggedized laptop because if something happens to the laptop and it falls or is roughly treated for whatever reason, the likelihood of their data being secure is much more in a semi-ruggedized design. Now, if we have a look at this machine here itself, let's go through some of the ports. We can see here that is a Thunderbolt 4 port, also obviously USB-C. That's the power there. Next up we have over here, there's audio, and you've got optional 4G, LTE, and GPS. Over here we have USB 2.0, and this is the stylus, which of course operates on the screen, but the screen is super customizable. I mean, you can use it with gloves, with fingers, with the stylus, or just with the inbuilt keyboard and mouse. Obviously, we have that fantastic little handle, which is oh so cool. Then over here, we have the weight saver, and you can configure this with things like Blu-ray players and second batteries. Here's a second battery here, but it's something that is customizable. Now, on the back, we have serial port, which is in use in a lot of different scenarios. We have a Kensington lock socket over here on this particular one, and you can see it's nice and hard to open those up, so it really is going to make sure that it's dust-proof and withstands the rigors of that ruggedized life. Then we have VGA and USB 3.2 of course. If we open this up here, we have gigabit Ethernet. Over here we've got two USB 3.2 devices and also an HDMI. You can see the big cooling vents there. So opening the machine up, we have this beautiful touch screen display. You can see all of my lights being reflected there, and a keyboard with very nice travel. Obviously we have the trackpad and the two buttons as you would expect. You can obviously get this to work with Windows Hello in the top screen there, which you can open and close. And it's got things like fingerprint readers and the ability to add the other sort of enterprise things that you would take for granted. So, and also on the bottom, as you would expect, you have the different attachments that allow you to put it into a car or to have a docking station. And you also have the ability to put up to 3 batteries in this, depending on your needs, depending on how you configure it. But that's the sort of options that you would expect to have from this sort of machine, which is very different to the kind of thin and light machines that corridor warriors will take for granted. This is a Microsoft Surface Laptop Go 2, very thin and light. I mean, there's a lot of different ruggedized options out there, and that's a very specific part of the market because that particular part of the market does require the extra oomph that consumer grade devices cannot deliver. We're also talking about Intel Wi-Fi 6 with AX compatibility for the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.2, we've got PCI NVMe storage, the kind of things that embody a modern 2021 laptop with all of the features that are required for the ruggedized uses that Getac is famous for. In addition, the screen is 14 inches, it's 1000 nits brightness, and it has something called Lumibond 2, which allows it to be seen in outdoor conditions, even in direct sunlight, which of course is very important. Again, if you're working in the field or you're working under harsh lights, this is something that you don't normally see in consumer laptops. Often you'll take a consumer laptop outside, it's a sunny day, and it gets hard to see. You need to position yourself in the shade. You need to have the technology ready and waiting for you rather than humans having to wait for the technology to be ready, which can sometimes be the case with modern technology. But in the field, you really haven't got that luxury. You just got to get on with it. Also, as you'd expect, this has the MIL STD 810H standard, and it can operate in temperatures from -29 degrees Celsius to +63 degrees Celsius. That is pretty hot, which is equivalent to -20 degrees Fahrenheit, all the way up to 145 degrees Fahrenheit. So Australian heat waves or Arctic winters, it can do it. We also have such features as IP53 protection, a splash-proof keyboard, it's got vibration resistance, it's got the sealed ports and connectors as we saw before, and shock-protected removable SSD. Again, the kind of things that really define semi-ruggedized industrial use as opposed to just everyday uses inside of an office. On top of all of that, it's 2.53 kilos in weight, or 5.25 pounds, so it doesn't have quite the featherweight lightness of those thin and light consumer laptops. But again, it's easy to carry and more than carries its weight. Okay, so let's turn on the Getac. I'm just going to push the power button over here, and we can see that it is about to start booting up. Now let me just move it up there. I'm going to zoom in onto the screen. You can see a bit of my setup in the background there. That is the privacy shield on the screen that we saw before, and let me just zoom right in. So this is the Getac S410. I'm just going to click the sign in button there, and that is the standard desktop. Now clearly we have the ability to use our fingers. We have the stylus here as well, so that makes life very easy to be able to use the screen in any which way that we want, and including with gloves, something very important in an industrial setting. If I go into the settings here, we can go and have a look and see what's inside this machine. So right click, go down to properties, and we can see, let me just zoom right in there, we can see that this particular unit has a Core i7, although as we said before, it's customizable from a Core i3 upwards, 11th generation. This particular one is running at 2.8 gigahertz. This particular machine has 16 gigabytes of RAM, and of course 64-bit, that's what you would expect. Now if I go back into the File Explorer, click on this PC here, this particular machine is also configured with a 456 gigabyte SSD, probably closer to 500 when it's not formatted, but of course the vagaries of Windows formatting mean that that's how it works. And now I've just come to the Why Not Windows 11 page from GitHub. That's somebody else's results, but I've downloaded the file itself. I'm going to click open on that, and it's now going to open up that, and we can see that it's just checking for DirectX, but it will come through. I've done this check before, and it says your computer is ready for Windows 11. You should receive the option to upgrade between October 5th, 2021 and fall 2022. Although according to Getac, this machine will get its updates in December. And of course, it depends whether or not your enterprise is ready to move to Windows 11. Not all will be ready to go straight away. But for those that are, this machine is more than capable of doing so. Now, if I go into the settings and I click on Update and Security, we can see the Windows Update. And there, of course, is the Get Ready. We can check the hardware requirements. Let's see what it says here. This is the official check. So I'm just swiping up. Okay, so we're doing some extra testing to make sure Windows 11 is ready for certain PCs, yours included, which is what Getac was saying. They said in December it will be available. It's only November as I'm filming this. But according to the other check, it is ready to go. And you will be able to upgrade to that when it suits your enterprise's needs. So the machine itself, you know, it is what you'd expect from an enterprise machine. I mean, it's just, it's perfect for that use. And, you know, were I in that kind of field as opposed to a technology journalist where you're always playing with the latest consumer technologies, this is the kind of laptop that I want. Now, obviously with Windows machines, you can hear the fan spinning at different times. Obviously, there's no fan spinning right now. You'd have to start doing something taxing for it to be able to do that. And if I go to the website, so I'm just at the Getac website, and this is where we can see the various ranges. So if I go into the products here, you can see that there are laptops, tablets, and a whole range of different software. If I go into the S410, that's in the laptop section, you can see they even have a portable server, which is really quite incredible. If I go to the S410 itself, the machine of the moment, and it is loading. So there's the machine itself, and there's a little YouTube video there, which I'm including in the article that this video goes with. But it does say, device capable of many jobs, delivering more power, more mobility, more connectivity, and more capability than ever before. Brilliant all-day use, as they explain. We have all the different features, the 11th gen Windows 11 Core CPU options. If I scroll down further, we have the cutting-edge mobility, the screen up to 1000 nits with daylight viewing outdoors, and also when it's mounted in vehicles. There's the optional third battery. Make sure the increased screen brightness does not compromise on battery life. Got the temperature ranges there before of -29 degrees up to 63 degrees Celsius with Wi-Fi 6AX connectivity. Obviously you have a range of multi-factor authentication capabilities, whether it's the capacitive fingerprint reader option, the Windows Hello Facial option, the smart card reader, and also an HF RFID reader, and of course TPM 2.0. And it's modular. It says here hard drives can be swapped, batteries, ports, and interfaces can be removed or swapped quickly and with minimal downtime. And there you have the greater comfort, whether it's a plain hand or whether it's a gloved hand. The 14-inch screen does make it very easy to work. You can have the right input tool, and obviously you also have a backlit keyboard, very important, and it's a larger touchpad than they've had before, which, you know, it's a very handy thing when you're dealing with data all day. Vehicle ready, you do have the in-car mounting system that you would expect. There's a little lock down there. You see these sorts of things in police cars and in ambulances and that sort of thing. So that's the third-party vehicle dock that is available. And if we scroll down, you know, there's a list of its features: Intel Iris Xe graphics, 1000 nits display, 11th gen processors, multiple connectivity options, an integrated GPS, and the trusted platform module 2.0. And of course, you have all the different industries: public safety, industrial manufacturing, utilities, automotive, defense. So if you're looking for a semi-ruggedized device, there are various choices out there, but Getac's been around since 1989, and as a joint venture between MyTac and the mighty GE, it's got a very excellent heritage and pedigree, and definitely is something that should be on your list to have a look at if you're considering ruggedized technology for industrial use.